President Michel Aoun and Prime Minister-designate Saad al-Hariri are set to meet Tuesday in the latest attempt to resolve differences over the formation of a new cabinet, with chances of achieving a breakthrough in the weeks-long deadlock rated at 50%. The planned meeting comes against the backdrop of mediation efforts made by Marouanite Bishara Array in the past few days, aimed at facilitating the formation of a new government desperately needed to deliver reforms in order to halt the country's much-feared economic collapse and rebuild Beirut following the deadly August 4th explosion that devastated Beirut port. According to officials, President Aoun and the Prime Minister-designate would try to agree on a modified cabinet formula to replace the draft cabinet lineup presented by the Premier-designate to the President earlier this month. The United States on Tuesday reinstated Sudan's sovereign immunity as the U.S. Congress passed legislation formalizing the move following the ending of Sudan's designation as a state sponsor of terror. However, the legislation includes an exemption allowing lawsuits by the families of victims of the September 11th attacks on the United States already underway in U.S. courts to move forward. The state sponsor of terror designation, which was in place for almost 3 decades, had weighed on Sudan's economy and restricted its ability to receive aid. For investors, the reinstating of sovereign immunity removes another layer of financial risk. The judge presiding over the trial of ousted Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir over the 1989 coup that brought him to power stepped down on Tuesday, citing health issues. Judge Issam Mohammed Ibrahim told the court that he has decided to cease presiding over the court for health reasons. The trial, which is broadcast on Sudanese television, was adjourned until January 5th. Proceedings opened on July 21st but have been repeatedly delayed. Police said a roadside bomb tore through a vehicle in the Afghan capital of Kabul Tuesday, killing at least 5 people, 4 of them doctors. The doctors worked at the Puli Charaki prison and were killed as they were on the way to their office in the city's Doghabad neighborhood. It was not immediately clear if the doctors were targeted in the attack. The car, a white sedan, did not appear to have any markings on it that indicated that its passengers were medical workers. The vehicle was almost completely destroyed in the blast. The United States on Tuesday issued additional visa restrictions on Chinese officials believed to have engaged in alleged human rights abuses, taking further action against Beijing in the final month of U.S. President Donald Trump's term. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said in a statement the restrictions affect officials believed to be responsible for or complicit in repressing religious practitioners, ethnic minority groups, dissidents, and others. Washington has slapped travel bans and financial sanctions on officials connected to the crackdown on Uyghurs and other Chinese Muslim groups in Xinjiang, as well as on Chinese and Hong Kong officials it accuses of restricting social and political rights in the semi-autonomous Chinese city through the implementation of a harsh new national security law. The Trump administration on Tuesday published a list of Chinese and Russian companies with alleged military ties that restrict them from buying a wide range of U.S. goods and technology. It was reported last month that the U.S. Department of Commerce drafted a list of companies that it linked to the Chinese or Russian military, news that brought a rebuke from Beijing. The final list does not include Commercial Aircraft Corporation of China or the Hong Kong subsidiaries of Colorado's Aero Electronics and Texas-based TTI Incorporated, a Berkshire Hathaway electronics distributor. South Korea said on Tuesday it had scrambled fighter jets in response to an intrusion into South Korea's air defense identification zone by 19 Russian and Chinese military aircraft. 4 Chinese warplanes entered the Korea Air Defense Identification Zone. followed by 15 Russian aircraft, according to South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff. The South Korean military dispatched Air Force fighters to take tactical measures. The South Korean military said in a statement the Chinese military had informed South Korea that its planes were carrying out routine training before the Chinese aircraft entered the identification zone. Europe scrambled Tuesday to thrash out a coordinated response to a new strain of the coronavirus, which has prompted an international suspension of travel links with the UK, while the United States saw its own caseload top 18 million. With travellers in Europe facing a nightmare holiday season, EU ambassadors were to meet Tuesday to try to nail down a unified approach and work out how to eventually lift the border restrictions with Britain, including by imposing a requirement for tests on all arrivals. More than 24 countries from India to Argentina suspended flights from the UK, offering a bleak reminder that the pandemic is far from over. Germany on Tuesday extended a ban on arrivals from Britain and South Africa until January 6th after a new, more infectious coronavirus strain appeared in the two countries. The health ministry said in a statement the transport ban covers passenger traffic by train, bus, ship and flights directly from these countries. The order covers the period from December 22nd of 2020 until January 6th of 2021. It added that people who have valid residency permits for Germany could return from January 1st. Mainland China recorded 15 new COVID-19 cases on December 21st, compared with 23 the previous day, and will look to strengthen measures to prevent the arrival of a new strain of the coronavirus, the country's health authority said. The National Health Commission said in its daily bulletin that 13 of the new cases were reported. 2 cases of local transmission were reported in the northeastern province of Liaoning. Another 17 asymptomatic cases were reported on December 21st, up from 15 the previous day. China does not include asymptomatic patients in its total confirmed case list. The co-founder of BioNTech said on Tuesday it was highly likely that its vaccine against the coronavirus works against the mutated strain detected in Britain, but it could also adopt the vaccine if necessary in 6 weeks. Dr. Ugur Sahin said scientifically it is highly likely that the immune response by this vaccine also can deal with the new virus variant. He added a new vaccine can be provided technically within 6 weeks. The Indian government on Tuesday appealed to farmers to hold further talks to break an early month-long deadlock over their demand for the repeal of agricultural reform laws, but farmers' leaders declined to relent unless these laws are withdrawn. Thousands of protesters have camped on the outskirts of New Delhi and blocked national highways for over 3 weeks to protest against new laws that the government says would increase farmers' income through more private investments. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government has urged the farmers to engage in talks to end the deadlock over the 3 reform laws introduced in September, but the farmers insist the laws would hit them economically while benefiting big retailers.